Welcome back to the channel. All right. Many of you saw I awakened my Morbius with the cyber deals. I chose him specifically because I said, waking him is going to be a big deal. I've taken him to rank 3. It is time for a showcase. Now, all these fights are going to be on the CCP server. It's like set up perfectly for us. Huge thank you to the team who set this up. This is fantastic. All these are going to be against 7-star rank 3 versions, basically emulating a Battlegrounds health, Battlegrounds nodes. We're going to go over this. There's a ton of fights. This guy is so outrageously versatile now. Watch this. Even I've been surprised at how good he is. And then at the very end, we'll do some talking about him overall as a champion. So here we go. You can see we want to get our bleeds placed. I believe there's a 20% chance. Yeah, basic chance of a 20% chance to place the bleeds. Don't worry. We will talk about the awakened ability and why I want him to awaken so bad. We get to our SB2. You get a large attack increase for every damaging debuff that's on there. If the petrify is on there, the petrify goes on when you have 10 of those damaging debuffs, bleed, or if you have them awakened, could be a rupture. It is the SB2 becomes a guaranteed crit. You saw the massive damage. That is a 7-star rank 3 doom. Now it happens so fast. I need to call this out to you, right? Because think about this. These champions have like 300 to 400. We're going to do Sasquatch. We're going to do Rintrah. You saw the thumbnail. We're now going to go against a Mephisto. This doesn't even exist in game right now. There is no 7-star rank 3 Mephistos running 3 in Battlegrounds. But if they do come, we're getting Rintrah. You better believe we're going to be getting Mephisto at some point. Watch what Morbius does to Mephisto. One of the people are still in high tiers. They're still running rank 5 ascended Mephistos. These are all Sig 200 champions as well. So one of the tricks, I think the biggest trick to playing Morbius, there's two, is one is knowing how many of the damaging debuffs you need to get the kill with the SP2 or certain fights, and I'll show you where you don't necessarily, you'll see. But the other one is you get that fervor buff. When you do your glide, right, that's when you dash out from far. You can see we've got the fervor buff in the left-hand corner. We've got the petrify. You saw what that did, but the petrify stays on. And so Mephisto here didn't really heal back. We're going to be able to get our glide. Here it comes, which has a massive damage increase. It has a massive, attack rate increase. I think it's 14,000 attack increase at rank 3. You saw what that did, just ends the fight. Additionally, Morbius's SP2 passively regenerates 15% of the damage dealt by the second hit, up to 10% of the max health. So the two things, again, there's just so much fun stuff to talk about with Morbius. The other thing is, when you throw your SP1, you lose the fervor buff. It goes away, which is actually good because it means you can glide again. And when you use the glide to punish an opponent's special attack, you get 4 of whatever that damaging debuff you're placing on is. And then now you have the fervor, which is increasing your chance to place those bleeds or those ruptures. So watch, you're going to see this here. You're going to see me try to be very smart about using my glide, right? In this fight, oh, here's another really cool thing. If your glide gets nullified, the fervor buff, gets nullified or neutralized, it comes back as a passive. So that's awesome. So he's going to probably be good here for Rintrah. You can see this. I did have to do this fight a few times just to get the flow down and kind of to understand the mechanics and how they're going to work out. But you see that? You saw how we punished the special one. We had our glide up. And we got the extra bleeds. Also, not that worried about the little mistake because remember what I said about the special 2, the massive damages, and watch our health bar. Watch our health bar. Shoots all the way back to 97%. We've got our glide back up again, right? There we go, because it was neutralized. So it means, it also doesn't go on cooldown. It's really good for you, actually, if you get a cooldown. So what I would highly recommend against Rintrah is make sure you don't use your glide early. Make sure you don't get that fervor buff early. Let him get a neutralize on you. Then your glide is just going to stay up and you're going to have that fervor buff the whole time. And that's why we're able to take down so much. And remember, that's a 7-star rank 3 Rintrah down and dusted by our boy Morbius here. Now, going up against Sasquatch. Again, this fight you want to tailor a little bit differently. I did this fight a lot, right? And the big issue is trying to time your SB2 for when Sasquatch goes into Wrath. I'm not going to tell you that I was perfect on it. I did this fight many times, but I'm also going to show it to you later in the video to show I got this multiple times. I got it down. I felt really good about it. And my advice on this one is don't be as concerned about kind of saving your glide and all that stuff because you're actually going to use your SP1 in order to try to get close to your special 2 so that way when Sasquatch does go into Wrath, you are ready to go. The other thing to keep in mind here, see he went into Wrath and we're not quite close to our special 2. I think I do a better job of it in the next fight, but because you want to get to your special 2. And the other thing I want to point out is Morbius also gets an increased combat power rate based on how many of the damaging debuffs are up, which is why you saw me get to the special 2 so quickly. So he does have the ability to close. So you can approach the fight that way too. Use your SB1s. You have a 50% chance on each hit to inflict a bleed debuff, which would be a rupture when he's awakened. Oh, and those will last for 24 seconds. And then the personal fervor buffs are paused during this attack and then expire immediately, opening up for you to do more glides again, right? So it plays really well in fights like that where you might want to be using your SP1 more and more and more. You'll see I did it better in the next one where I let myself get closer to the special 2. And then America Chavez, remember her health pool is not large. And this is a really great example of you are constantly pushing them over a bar of power, going in, getting your glide and your fervor buff. You can see how many bleeds we have, and then we're going to punish, get 4 more. We got the fervor buff, so we were able to go from 13 to 21 very, very quickly and go in and just decimate her. That was, her health pool is not large. That was way, way, way overkill. And I think if I remember correctly, that fight's 34 seconds. Let's see here. 31. Sorry, I over-exaggerated by 3 seconds. Okay, now it's time, we got the Hyperion, so it's now time to talk about the utility section while still doing all that massive damage. In my opinion, Morbius is actually great for like these kind of soft power gains. If the power gain gets going too much, he struggles. It ruins his flow. But it's like this Hyperion, I'm gonna show you Dragonan, you're gonna see this. So it's important. I'm gonna read you a little bit because I really wanna make sure you understand this, okay? When the opponent is suffering from 10 plus damaging debuffs, we've talked about this, they're gonna get inflicted with a non-stacking 25% Petrify debuff. That's not massive, right? And he needs that for the guaranteed crit, but 25%, you're like, I don't know, Vega, like power gain's gonna get out of control. And like I said, if the power gain is insanely strong, it will. However, listen to this. While the opponent is petrified, Morbius gains a 1% combat power rate for each damaging debuff, as we already talked about. So he's getting to that special 2 even faster. But here's the really big part. For each damaging debuff on the opponent, it's going to lower their regen rate. So you're lowering the regen rate by 10%. Remember, for each damaging debuff, and the ability power rate by 5% for a max of 10. So that ability power rate just by 10 damaging debuffs on is now lowered by 50%, plus the petrify, and then do the same thing with the regen. I'm going to show you a fight later. So he is great for this because, again, remember I said you actually kind of want the opponent throwing specials that you can punish. It worked out beautifully for his flow. This is the sort of versatility you know I love in a champion, and I love in a battlegrounds champion, I love in a questing champion. And he's fun as hell. He's fun as hell. Like these big, huge numbers. So right there, right? We don't even have our petrify up. We don't have our petrify up. So you do need to set up the fight. The fight does need to get set up, right? But we've got it up now. So we're doing good things to the power gain. Watch Hype's power gain when I am not hitting him. Watch right now. He's got the power gain. We've got 18 damaging debuffs. We've got the petrify up. Watch his power bar when I'm done hitting him, and you're going to see it minimally move. Watch this. Look at this. Well, he threw a special. So, but that whole time while he was doing that, you saw the lack of movement. We were just handling this. Hopefully we can see it here. Yeah, there. You got a chance to see it. He's not getting power until we're hitting into him. The petrify and then Morbius's abilities based on the damage and debuffs would work. Cool thing though is that Hype was throwing specials, so we were able to keep our fervor up. We were able to do our glides, and we just totally demolished a 7-star rank 3 Sig 200. I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's important that you know this is literally this is the max you could face in battlegrounds, right? And then if people have rank 4s, they have rank 4s. Cool, you rank 4, you're Morbius, right? Or whatever. You're going to see something like this. Now another Cosmic champion, who this isn't like in Morbius's kit, it's not spelled out, but the other cool thing is you can play him without going to your SB2 directly, right? I've shown this multiple times already. Well, who's a champion that you want to be knocking down, but then also into fight quickly against? I hope we eventually see a 7-star Galan, but this is 7-star rank 3 right here. So we're going to knock him down, right? And he loses his mass, so we don't have to worry about the harvest yet. And if I had punished the special 1 better, cool. And you saw I wasn't that good. I was probably late there, but because we get the glide, which makes us have the untouchable on top of the damage and debuff puts on top of the massive attack increase, we didn't have to worry about being a little bit late. Go in, we're ready for our special 2. We've got 20 of our damage and debuffs up to 21, and bye Galan, 240,000 crit. Like that is a utility, right? That's kind of like a hidden utility where you are knocking the champions down. Here's the other thing about that is until I'm explicitly told I'm wrong by a Kabam employee, I believe that knocking down the AI makes the AI play more aggressively. So it plays into this. It plays into Morbius's flow. He's very well made. I love him. So now he can go ahead and take out Hulkling. The one thing you want to watch out for this is you want to watch out that you don't throw your special 2 into Hulkling's indestructible. You're not worried about it, right? Your bleeds aren't the massive source of your damage. It's the stacking of the bleeds. So you just kind of work your way up. This was actually, I'm very comfortable fighting Hulkling. I got used to fighting Hulkling with America Chavez before the synergy with Kate Bishop and all that came out. So Hulkling for me isn't too big of a deal. But you can see right there, I'm just going to wait till the indestructible goes down, go in, use our striker to buy us a few seconds. Boom, bam, done. 7-star rank 3 Hulkling. So that ever comes out, you got your Morbius, you're good to go. All of these champions, he can handle, he can take. All right, so the awakened ability, right? This was the thing I was waiting for, why I wanted to pull him so bad, and why once I did, I took him immediately to rank 3. Now, I wanted to test to see how well it scaled. I talked to some of the guys in Illuminati, and a lot of them were saying, like, I think around 80 is the sweet spot because of the replacement. Remember, when you get the fervor, you are significantly increasing your chance to place the bleed. So you're giving the bleed like a chance to fail, I guess, is the way it was explained to me and the way I understand it. Meaning you don't need the signature ability at SIG 200 to really feel the difference. I tested it at SIG 20, and then you can see all these fights are going to be with him at SIG 50. I noticed a significant difference. From SIG 20 to SIG 50, you're going to see what SIG 50 looks like. It's this first bullet point here. When the opponent's immune to a personal bleed, 62.5% chance. So this can go up to 100% chance to inflict a rupture debuff instead, doing physical damage. We're going to go over a variety of fights. I'm going to show you even a champion that has shifting immunities, kind of how to play that. It's interesting. And then the other bullet point is one of the things that can kind of make him more recoil friendly. I believe people really use it for that. And then while the Undying is active, instantly regenerate 50% of all direct damage. So this is, again, kind of that recoil friendly. It's not exactly like Corvus though, so please don't take it for being Corvus like. You can still die if you, I think, take a blocked head or things like that. So all right, you understand that. Now let's go and see like the defenders this opens up. I feel strongly this is going to blow some people's minds. Dragon Man, right? I mentioned him earlier. And for me, this is if Dragonan wasn't immune to bleed, this would already be a perfect matchup because this is kind of soft power gain that you yourself can kind of control with blocked hits and things, right? So we're going to use this. We're going to go in and we're going to punish and we're getting our ruptures up. And you're going to see we're not necessarily getting the rupture every single time we would have gotten a bleed, but 62%. And then the fervor is helping out. Dragonman's getting some power gain. I'm intentionally not canceling out all of his power gain because he's giving me the opportunity to punish the special when my fervor goes on cooldown. So watch, I'm going to try to let the fervor go on cooldown. I remember this now. So I'm going to let it go on cooldown, then want him to throw a special. And then remember, when you glide, you go untouchable. So go right in, the psionic glide, we get our fervor, we've got our 18 ruptures there, and then we just destroyed that dragon. We just go in and destroyed him. Now, I showed it in the Rintrah fight, and I think we're going to see it here against Mangog. It actually works out sometimes really well if you've lost a little bit of health. Like that's one of the reasons why he's so good for Mephisto, right? Because you're losing some health to the aura. Is the SP2 will get that heal back. If they live, you get the full heal back, and then you can go and just finish them off. So watch this against Mangog. I know it's going to look a little shaky. I actually did this fight multiple times to make sure it worked. It does. It's a 7-star. Again, rank 3, SIG 200. You can finish your combos. You want to be a little more aware that when Mangog throws his special 1, if he goes to 10 of his charges, he's going to get the unblockable, unstoppable, and that will significantly delay the fight. And delays of any sort are really hurtful to Morbius. They really mess up his flow because while his debuffs stay on for, I think it was 24 seconds, it's a long time, they do start to fall off. And in this 15 to 23, 24 debuff range, it's a massive difference in the damage you do. So watch, we're going to go in and I'm trying to stack a few more. This is where having a higher SIG ability, if I had a higher SIG ability, he probably doesn't, he definitely doesn't live through that. It's 1%, right? So we get that done. We're fine. We're good. And the higher the SIG, that would just be done, over. Like it would have just looked like a pure bleed match. Now we're going up against the Destroyer. I mean, these are some of the big, Sasquatch is probably the biggest and baddest, right? But these are some of the big bads that, like, they pop up, they're there, and he can now take them. Like, you see the ruptures, right? Like, he's honestly more fun and more powerful than I thought he was going to be. I'll do the full analysis when we get through everything here. But you can see this. Here we go. So we threw the special one. And this is what I was talking about, is the big key for me is getting your fervor to kind of go on cooldown, utilizing your fervor, using your glide to get your increased debuffs, and then getting it to go on cooldown, right? So it's about to end here, and I think we're setting it up. Or do I just go for the kill? Okay, yeah, I went for the kill. But if not, if I hadn't, I could have delayed my special 2, wait for Overseer to throw his special 2. I punish it because my fervor's now down. I can do the glide, get those bleeds from that punishment, and then SB2 him into Oblivion, right? It's a very fun play style. For me, he's one of those champions where you are very much rewarded for lining up a bunch of things. So now here's the fight. Well, I told you I was going to show you one with the shifting immunities. This fight ends up going pretty well. It took me a while to kind of figure this one out. And essentially for me, it's just leave Absorbing Man in Uru. Leave him immune, because if you don't, it's really interesting. And I understand why it happens, but you end up losing your various debuffs, and you need to have 10 of them, right, to keep up the Petrify. So it kind of works oddly. But this works out pretty well when you consider how much Absorbing Man heals and those sorts of things. And remember, as we talked about, it's not just power, it's not just ability power rate that Morbius can help you handle. It is also the healing. So once we get the Petrify up and those debuffs, you see the lack of healing for Absorbing Man, right? He's healing, he's trying to heal, but it's just not happening. What takes a while is that you have to just deal with the nonstop SB1s, because you want to keep Absorbing Man in Uru in order to get the ruptures up. Because if you don't, you start risking the chance of him going into his other forms, then you're placing the bleeds, and then he goes back into Uru and you lose the bleeds. So I liked this. Maybe there was a way to knock him out of Uru. Now that I'm thinking about this even more after a lot of testing, maybe there would have been a way to try to knock him out of Uru and then use the special 2. Maybe that would end it. So maybe there's a way to make this even better. But as you saw, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I think this fight took about a minute. So it was like a bit of an emergency Absorbing Man counter. He can do it. Morbius can do it. And if you're more patient with and throwing your special 1s and building your special 2, you're good to go anyway. I actually did this testing before I did all of those fights. I was having fun with him, kind of learning him a little bit better, make sure I understood what he did. And these fights they're the epitome of Morbius. Like, he's just absolutely so fun. Like I said, lining things up. This is Realm of Legend Wolverine, and you can see we've already handled the healing. He's got 2 stacks of his healing going, and it just don't matter. We've threw our special 1s. This is a good example I was talking about, where throwing the special 1s can allow you, especially if you're able to punish both of the defender's specials, right? If you're able to do that like we are with Wolverine, these are pretty basic. These are like original specials from the game. He's dead. He's dead. He's at 40% health, and we threw our special 2, and he's dead. So when you can punish both of the specials from the defender, it can speed things up significantly, because now you can look at where their power bar is and decide how you're going to handle your own fervor buff, right? As I've said multiple times, I like to repeat myself when it's important, so you can really make sure you take it away, is when you get that fervor buff on cooldown and you punish their special, not only are you getting your fervor again, but you are getting those 4 extra damaging debuffs from punishing their special with your glide, okay? So here we go. Oh, this was fun. This was like, I love this. To me, it just, like, I immediately thought of the Multiverse of Madness. It's Morbius, not Wanda. But this poor Black Bolt. Watch how many bleeds we figure out. Watch how big this number gets. Because talk about a champion where you can punish all their specials and not worry about it. And I was just building up my bleeds. This is so much fun. Cat, I hope you're not watching, Cat. Here we go. Going in, 32 bleeds, 406,000. 406. It was like 889,000. Oh, Morbius. I love Morbin, man. I do. It was JJ who asked me on stream. Was I looking forward to more? I was like, I'm going to Morb all day, all night, all morning, all afternoon. It is for me almost, and here's the second Sasquatch fight, and I told you I would show you this, just to show you, like, you can do this. I think this is the one where Wrath hits, like, at the perfect moment. And I was like, I'm going to show you the one where it doesn't, but I do want to show you this, because in practicing, I had this happen frequently. And remember, in Battlegrounds, your striker starts at 50% gauge. So you're going to have even more control over the fight than I just showed. Now, in Battlegrounds, though, you know, the defenders will have limber and things like that. There'll be nodes, right? This is basically nodeless except for the health pool and things. So keep all that stuff in mind. So here's my thing with Morbius is I am so happy I haven't ranked 3. I'm struggling to not put 6 stones into him because I meant it when I said, see, look, watch, we hit Wrath. You just play him very patient, keep throwing those SB1s, but let yourself get closer to the special 2 before you throw your special 1 against Sassy, which will significantly increase your chance of hitting Sassy and being close to your special 2 when he goes into Wrath. So that's the strategy there. The thing with Morbius was this, is I think he can get thrown off this loop not easy, but more easily than some other champions. There's a reason why I am definitely not going to be placing him with like Silk, Luke Cage, or Titania, okay? Despite the amazingness of this. He is insanely, insanely fun. I can see why he's not used in war that much outside of this current tactic. I think it's Decay. I don't know, whatever. It is helpful and he's part of the tactic. And that's the thing, is he's like a perfect champion for that because he is very, very, very good. He just doesn't have as much safety, I guess is a way to put it, around him as some of these other champions that are more frequently brought to high tier war. I'm bringing him to my tier 3 war and having an absolute blast. He just crushed a fight for me where I guess I misread the node. I kept losing my power and he still crushed the fight. I never even got my special 2 and he still crushed the fight. But when you look at our monthly tier list and you see this come out, his war score is going to be pretty low and that's going to hurt him in the ratings. For me, his flow score is actually very middle of the road. When nothing gets in his way, his flow is like a 5 out of 5. But that's not what flow is, and that's not why we score things the way we do. He's outrageously fun. And when the fight allows you to play him and to play him with strategy and to get your fervor buff on cooldown and to use your glide to punish specials, there might be no one better. You know, outside of like something that has like a damage cap or something like that. He is insanely fun. He is insanely fun. We will do a full review. We'll definitely be talking about him in the December tier list. And I know people are going to be watching this way beyond December of 2024. Make sure you tune in every single month for the tier list. And then if enough of, I'll probably end up doing it anyway. I just won't necessarily do it this December unless enough people in the comments say, hey, please do the spicy meter on them. We really want the like full how to play. We want to know the synergies. We want to know where you have them placed on the tier list. Like now we want a detailed discussion on that. If enough of you ask for that in the comments, I'll go ahead and definitely, yeah, I can get it done this December because I truly love this champion. He is an absolute blast. But if I'm not seeing a lot of that, if everyone's pretty comfortable with like, hey, look, dude's awesome. I want a Morb too. Thanks for showing me this. I get it. Maybe he doesn't have all the utility of Luke Cage and maybe he's not quite as, you know, his flow is not quite as good as Silk or something like that. But this is a powerful, powerful champion. And I'm not often taking fights that require me to have like crazy power control. This kind of what you're calling soft power control. More than enough for me, bro. I'm looking to clear some content and have some fun in this game. I really think there's no one better. And you will see it. And it will be reflected when I do the top 10s, which is this December. We do it every June and every December. Myself and the Illuminati, we got something really awesome for you. And you're going to see it when I do my own personal rankings, how highly I have rated Morbius, because the power is great and the fun is off the charts. As usual, let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. And if you learned something new about Morbius today, I'd like you to let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.